So I'm going to go through my references, and I will leave each one up for a few seconds if you want to capture them. So I have the front here. There's the back. We're using an old controller which has a lot of nice wear and tear and dirt on it. There's the bottom. It's the top. It's the first little detail shot. The cord going into the controller. Back detail. Another back detail. Button detail. More button details. More button details. It's the plug. Plug from one side. Plug from the end. Another of the plug. Plug from the opposite side. And then a detail shot of the cord going into the plug. And that's it. So before we begin, let's go ahead and create a new project. File, project window. I'm going to hit new here. I'll hit accept. File, set project. And I'll click on that A2 and I'll hit set. Now that the project is set, let's go ahead and get some image planes in here so that we can begin the block out. So first I'm going to make sure I'm in the correct grid settings. So I'm going to go to Windows, Settings, Preferences, Settings, change this to foot and hit save. Then I'll go to display and check this and make sure I have 5, 1, and 12 so that I know I have inches here for every subdivision. Hit close. I'll hit spacebar. And we're going to use the front and top image planes. So I need to move my reference images into my project folder, and I'm going to drag them into the source images folder. Okay, so after I move my references into the source images folder of my project folder, make sure that they're in here. I'm going to go to View, Image Plane, Import Image, and we're going to select the front image and hit Open. There it is, and then we'll do the top. So in the top panel, View, Import Image, or Image Plane, Import Image. Select the top, hit Open. I'm going to hit spacebar over here and just make sure these are the same size. This is very close. I'm going to nudge this to the side here just so that the controller lines up correctly. Might need to be scaled down a little bit. All right, we'll put this back down on the grid. All right, so I'll select one of these, and then in the attribute editor, I'll click on this looking through camera so it disappears in the perspective. I'll select the other one and I'll do the same thing, looking through camera. And I'll go ahead and change the alpha gain to 0.5, and same on the other one. 0.5. And I'll select both. Go to the channel box layer editor, click on this icon to create a new layer and assign these selected objects. Double click here, name this image planes, hit save, and I'll change this to R for reference, so now I can no longer click on them. Now would be a good time to save the project, so File, Save Scene As, and I'll name this NES underscore controller underscore VO1. Make sure it's going in the scenes folder of your project folder, and then hit save. Okay, let's begin blocking out the model. And the overall shape of this object is essentially just rectangular, like a brick, right? So I'm going to start with a cube. I'll hit 4 in both of these viewports here. And I'll start by scaling down the top to the correct thickness and width. And then I'll go ahead and scale down the front. And I'm going to come in here. And I'm only using this handle. If I were to grab this handle, it will mess with the thickness and width. So I'm just scaling the height in the front. And these images have perspective on them. So, you know, they're not going to be perfect. But I'm going to do my best to line it up best I can. Come in here, line this up a little bit better. When modeling, we want to always start from simple and move to complex. So we have the basic overall volume of this shape down. Next, let's go ahead and get these corners so that we match the profile better. And these edges here and these back ones here all have the same bevel value to them. So I'll select all of those and hit bevel. I can always pull up my reference to get an idea of what that bevel should look like. So I'll come over here and let's control this fraction a bit. Look at our reference again. Add a segment. And that's good for now. Next, we need to do these corners. Now, I didn't do these corners at the same time because the corners, as you can kind of see in here, are a bit rounder than the sides. So I'm going to select all these corners like so. So I've got them all, and make sure that I'm capturing these little edges in here too. And then I'll go ahead and bevel again. Bevel. And I'm going to look in here and hold this fraction, give us another segment like this. Okay, so that's looking good so far. We need, right now we have Ngons. So this is an Ngon and this is an Ngon. Let's go ahead and fix that. And I'm actually just going to delete these faces and bridge here. Hit G to bridge again. Select all those and hit G again to bridge again. Then I'll select these, G, select all those, G. We'll do the same thing for this side. Next, let's go ahead and get this indentation where this plastic, sort of frames in this inner part. So I look at this view. This edge here is pretty much lined up with that indentation on this side. If I come to this side, it's not lined up. However, I think that's just perspective issues, and I know on the controller that the distance is the same on both sides. So we'll just stick with this edge here, and I might take this edge and just both edges so that it's symmetrical, and hit R to scale and just scale it in a little bit. Then we need an edge that runs this way. So I'll hit Control Shift X to get to my multi-cut tool, and I'll drop an edge here that runs along the top. And then we want one that runs along the bottom, so I'll hold Control and drop an edge loop there. Good. Now we have this face right here. And we can go ahead and hit Control E to extrude. And I want a view like this so I can kind of see the depth, and then I will use the word thickness and drag this in a little bit, and then offset. I will offset this a little bit as well. just a touch. And that might be a little too far in, so let's just something like this. I don't like these edges that kind of dip down like that, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that now. I'm going to select this edge to this edge, hit R to go to my scale tool, scale them flat like this, hit W to go to my move tool, click on the up arrow, hold V for vertex snapping, and middle mouse click to line it up here. And I'll do that for each of these. So I'm going to hold Control Shift X and drop an edge loop in the exact middle. So I'm going to hold Control now that I have the multi-cut tool and middle mouse click here, and that'll drop it right in the middle. I know that the overall shape of this is symmetrical, so I'm just going to select all these faces and delete them. And I'm going to work on this half for a little bit, and then we'll mirror it back over. So what I want to do is sort of capture the roundness right here, this indentation, rather than having it be perfectly sharp 90 degrees. And before I do that, I'm going to line up these edges. So I'm going to go to edge mode and select this corner. And also this corner, because they have the same roundness to them. I'll go to this view in here, and I'll hit this bevel. I'm going to decrease the fraction a little bit and add 2 segments. That looks good. Now we need to fix these Ngons, so I'm going to go to my multi-cut tool again, drop an edge around here, and I'll drop another edge loop around here, and one also here. Then I'll connect this edge and this edge, and these 2 vertices, and these 2. I want to straighten these out a bit, so I'm going to go to my selection tool by hitting Q, select this entire edge loop here, shift deselect that one, and hit R and scale it in so it's flat, and then W and select this direction, hold V, vertex snap it so it's perfectly straight there. Do something similar with this one where I scale it nice and flat, hit up, hold V, vertex snap it there. And this one's fine. Let's edge slide this so that it is straighter. So I'm holding Control and Shift, and that'll let me slide up and down this edge. Something like that. Now I still have some, this is still an Ngon down here, and there's still some Ngons down here, so let's fix those. I'm going to connect this vert to this vert, this one to this one, and this one to this one. Then we'll go from here to here, and here to here. We need an edge loop here, and we'll connect here to here. Okay, let's take, now that we've solved the Ngons, let's take this edge loop, so all of these, and hit bevel, and turn chamfer off, and the fraction down, which will create fenced-in edges for smoothing. Let's do the same thing for this inner one. It's also going to create edge flow across that edge, which is nice. So I'll hit G to bevel again, turn chamfer off, and this one I don't really need to change the fraction. So that's good. Let's check smooth preview to see what it looks like. It's looking pretty good. Let's check our reference. Let's do a quick search for Ngons. So select this, mesh, clean up option box, select matching polygons, faces with more than 4 sides, hit apply. And there are no Ngons, so that's good. And this is a good place to stop, and we will pick up in the next video.